know, the divorce rate is up, like people breaking up left and right. Like what's going on, y'all? Is the dynamic between the man and women crumbling? Like what's going on, guys? Do y'all think, you know, something's in the water? Like what the fuck is going on?
I think the divorce rate has jumped up since like the uptick in all forms of social media. Like social media is is the number one culprit of, you know, divorce rate. And I probably have statistics. I can't point to a specific statistic, but if I look after the fact, I can guarantee I can prove the fact that social media is the number one culprit.
So I think it's coupled with COVID too. I think a lot of people don't know what they're getting into until they have to spend 24 hours with somebody for 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is not for the weak. And
Not for the week.
that's just not for the weak. But yeah, I think, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot that you learn within yourself and within your spouse. You know, if you think about it on a daily basis, you're going to work for 8 hours, and you know, if you're in the DMV, it might take you an hour to get there, an hour to get back. That's 10 hours of your day. So you really only spending about 4 or 5 hours with your spouse when you come home. And start in February, if you teleworking, you literally 24 hours up under them the whole damn 8, 9, 10 months. So I think it is different. I remember talking and looking at a couple studies that they're doing right now, and they said the divorce rate is higher. One one because they're stuck in the house. Two because of depression. Three because of, you know, all of the social media. It's like it's I think I just think it's like a resounding effect. Like you can't change any aspect of your life that drastically and then not have an effect on you. You know,
Call something. And then also like in the instance of like changing somebody, whereas though it's like, all right, well, my parents always cooked my mom always cooked for my father all the time, and then all of a sudden, like when you get into the relationship and then like whatever happens, like she starts cooking, hypothetically speaking, she starts cooking, and then all of a sudden she stops cooking for whatever reason, whether it's like tending to the kids, tending to like actually the learning aspect of upbringing, or, you know what I'm saying, actually having somebody being outside of the house for work or what have you. And then like that changes the dynamic of how the relationship started, and then you not necessarily understanding how to conform or how to adjust to that situation. And then also I think the rat race mentality of our society plays a part in that too. Whereas though we're always chasing for the next biggest thing, whether it's the next biggest job, and then that takes away from the actual household dynamic. Whereas though like, I'm racing around trying to figure out how I can make more money for my household, and then all of a sudden not realizing that by me making more money for my household, I'm taking away time from my household, and that takes away from the actual experience at home. And then also, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, I need to chase after and get this bigger house, or I need to chase after and get these bigger material items, as opposed to actually like putting the time and effort into our houses and into our homes to make those experiences better at home. So I think those are some of the things that I think play a big part in, along with, of course, social media and seeing. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses as opposed to living the life that was given to me.
Yeah.
I would actually piggyback on some of what you said, Alex. I agree with that whole rat race thing. I think, and social media, I think it's a combination, because I feel like nowadays, like everybody is almost kind of like trying to be their own star. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is chasing their own dreams. You know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's not, especially even when you have a man and woman in relationship where she has these dreams and aspirations that lead in that direction, and you have dreams and aspirations that lead in this direction, but y'all supposed to raise a family at the same damn time. And all that's going to do is just create friction and frustration within that relationship, because nobody's thinking about the whole. They're not thinking about the family. They're thinking about their individual goals, and that takes away from the children at the end of the day, or you know what I'm saying, or just the overall relationship within itself. You know what I'm saying? As far as on like you can still provide for your kids, you can still do all these other things, but as far as just like the overall, like, you know, interaction the like, you know, I guess you would say the nuclear family, the reaction, not the reaction, the interaction between the man, woman, and child. You know what I'm saying? That shit gets fucked up when everybody has their own individual goals, because, you know, so I think that plays a huge role in what's going on in society right now, because nobody's really focused on family. Everybody's focused on their own individual goals. So yeah, I think that plays a big part.
That is true too.
B, I feel like you was about to say something, B.
Oh, I was just gonna say that is, I mean, it's 2020, and whether we choose to believe it or not, it's everybody right now is like connected at the same damn time. So like social media would play a huge role in that. Just for the simple fact that like you can't give your spouse or your partner, like it's hard to give them like 100% you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're so connected with everything else, like, and you can't really detach from it. You know what I'm saying? So how can you expect for me to give you 100% of my energy, and I'm so connected to everybody else, like it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that I don't know, it's weird. It's like you can't even detach from that shit. That you can't. I don't know.
When you say being connected to everybody, you mean like
through social media,
Instagram or some shit like that? What you?
No, I'm saying like through social media. That's what I was saying. So social media, I feel as though it plays a big role, just simply from the fact that you're connected 24/7 to other people, and it's different now. It's not like, oh, you got to log on. It's like literally you get notifications when that person is doing something, or you see what I'm saying? So like you're technically, like, you know what I'm saying? It's you create a relationship.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You create a relationship with your, you know what I'm saying, your social media self. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like you're in a different relationship. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because even within that, we talking about just relationships between men and women or whatever the fuck. I mean, but even you can even talk about relationships between parents and children. You'll go to the dinner table and mom is on her phone, dad is on his phone, the kids are on their own individual phones, and that shit is taken away from the whole family dynamic, just the whole interaction between family. Y'all sit in the living room. Oh, hey kids, let's go sit in the living room and watch the movie. Everybody's in the living room watching the movie while being on their phone at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying? So like it's washing away our just overall interaction, and it's the fucked up part about it is that whether we want to believe this or not, is developing a level of narcissism within us all, to where we don't even give a fuck about nobody else. So it's all about us. It's all about what we want. And you can't be like that if you want to develop a family unit. You can't. You have to be engaged with your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't have a strong family structure if everyone is focused on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, some kids don't even look their parents in the eyes because they so caught up in their phones. You know, so it's just like that. You know?
Yeah, I think, and to go further, I think a lot is also we might not be as intentional either. So like growing up like with our parents, or maybe some parents, it was when it was dinner time, it was no TV time. It was literally, we're gonna sit at the family table and we're gonna eat together. But now it's like, all right, we sit at the dinner table, and we might sit it, or sometimes it's not even we're gonna sit at the dinner table. Sometimes it's, all right, we're gonna eat, I'm gonna eat over here by the kitchen, you're gonna eat over here by the couch, you're gonna eat by the TV. Like literally we'll talk about whatever we gotta talk about when it's time to talk about. But like growing up, and especially like in grandparents' days, or at least in my grandparents' days, like when we used to go to the house, when it was dinner time, and there were times for us to watch TV together. There was times for us to you know what I'm saying, sit and play cards together and do all different types of things together. But now I think we have transitioned away from that a little bit. We
have. I don't think it's a little bit, Alex. I think like a lot of times.
I was just gonna speak for my I was just gonna speak for my perspective.
No, I feel you too, because like, go ahead.
No, I mean I'm with Alex on that. I agree, because I just to keep it up, be all transparent. Like you were saying, grandparents' times, it was like if all the family got together for every single holiday, every single this. And then it's like, I notice as I get older, it's less and less of that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now all the cousins is moving further and further away, doing their own thing over here. And now, like, don't nobody even go over grandma's house over for Christmas no more. Now everybody just stay home and do their own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah.
I feel like that shit, like, as these generations grow, you know, I think it's going to be more than that. Oh, hold on, Alex. I actually want to ask you this. Do you think that it's less of involvement in church and families, and do you think that actually might play a part in the lack of cohesiveness? That's kind of because I feel like people are becoming less and less religious as well. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, does that play a part in kind of like, you know, fucking up the family cohesiveness just in general? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that, but I think that also is that, yes, I think that part plays a part. I think that also plays a part into the technology aspect, because normally, like, it was, or I can only speak for us, it maybe 1 or 2 Bibles in the house. And so if it's 1 or 2 Bibles in the house and we go to church together, and it's like, all right, well, we're going to read this Bible verse, and I have to peer over to my mother and father's shoulder to read the Bible verse, and we're going to read the Bible verse together. Now it's the same way you talk about when we go to the dinner table. Is I have my device, you have your device. So if we're going to read the scripture together, it's I'll read it on my device, you'll read it on yours. I do think we have shied away a little bit from the most part, religion and practicing the different religions, as opposed to living more for the now, as opposed to living more in the spiritual religious world. I'm sorry.
You're right, Al, because
I think
that's just going to I mean, that it goes right along with what you said. If people are less religious or spiritual, and marriage is supposed to be a spiritual thing, then how is that going to last? You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're asking people to do something that they don't even technically believe in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people get married.
Yeah,
like,
that's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are getting married because just to say that they are married, but actually marriage is a marriage of spirit. It's a spiritual ceremony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's
I honestly,
you know, no, go ahead.
I mean, I honestly feel from the outside look. I mean, I'm married, but just from what I've seen a lot, especially in the social media age, a lot of people, like you said, Brian, are getting married just to say that they're married. Like, they're not really married because they want to have a true, like, intertwining with another person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially with, like, a lot of this, like, new age information that's like talking about, oh, you are a spirit and you weren't meant to be with one person, and that, you know what I'm saying? So niggas be on that shit. Like, you know, they be using that as a reason not to, like, you know, ever really have a real relationship. So, I mean, it makes sense, you know, while a lot of this shit happens. And even in the fact that it's something as simple as like having fast food. Like, fast food, you grab it, you're on your, you know, we a long day at work, don't have time to cook for your kids. Let me grab this, the kids in the backseat, eating in the car. You know what I'm saying? On the way home, listening to the radio, nobody really talking. You know what I mean? You can't really, you know, blame people, but it's just the way that society is going is like, you know, it's like as we advance in technology, as we kind of speed up and move faster, but then the family structure is like crumbling all within these advancements of technology. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of crazy. It's like now, you know, mom don't even have time to cook the meal for the kids no damn more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because, you know, that's just how this shit is. It's crazy, but, you know, and that takes away that like that intimacy. You know, it takes that shit away. So, you know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you were saying too is how it looks on the outside, and that's what I think. A lot of people are getting married because that's what they see. You know what I'm saying? That's what they see happen, and that's what they see is a success, rather than, like you said, rather than, you know, doing it for the reasons to come together and to be a unit and blessed. You know what I mean? It's a blessing from God. It's a gift. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just having somebody that you can take pictures with when y'all go out all the time. Like, because it's so funny. I feel like that's what it's getting down to. Like, some people are just getting married for the facade. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's narcissism, bro.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it is. Like everybody's turning into that shit. Like everybody's using people to be props in their life rather than actually,
Yep.
you know, engaging with people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
what I realized too is, as a man, you have to. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, I didn't know this, but I think it's more intentional when you are married, because as a man, you do have to make sure that, you know, your household is good. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't only make sure that you okay. And that's one of the things that.
But you already knew that before you got.
Say what, Corey?
I said, but you already knew that before you got married.
Yeah, but I knew that before I got married, but it was just a resounding, you know what I'm saying? It just hit me a little bit harder when I did get married, because it's more of a responsibility thing. And I do feel like that intentionality hits hard. Like, because like you can't, it's like, bro, like all right, you're going to telework for 8 hours, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you got your little health thing going on, you're going to eat this, you're going to take your little apple cider vinegar gummies and all that and this and that, but you still got to make sure that your family good. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to make sure that your wife's good. You got to make sure that your son's good. You got to make sure that your daughter's good, whatever have you. You got to make sure that your whole fucking household is running. You know what I mean? So the intentionality part, I think, is a big part as well, because I know I will cross things off my list and then be like, all right, bet, now I could just chill, which it is supposed to happen. You're supposed to be able to cross shit off your list and then just chill, because you don't want to be that person that's on edge all fucking day and you got to do this and that, and then you got to worry about this person and this person. But it is some intentionality about it. It's like, bruh, like this day and age, you're not supposed to be on social media for 2 hours. That's not life. You know what I mean? Like you surfing and looking at what everybody's doing, that's not living. And I remember us talking about this shit. Like, I hate going to a restaurant and I see the couples just be on their phone the whole fucking time. I'm like, yeah, y'all could have stayed at home and did that shit. Like,
for real.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a relationship. Just being on your phone scrolling through shit.
Yep,
that's
talking.
not a relationship.
You say, B?
I said I've been guilty of doing that shit, and sometimes like you recognize it, you be like, oh, we on our phones like a motherfucker. Then you know what I'm saying? You catch yourself sometimes. You be like, oh shit. I'm like, man, put your phone down. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch yourself. Yeah, but it's good that you are aware of that. You know?
Right. You gotta be conscious.
Some people aren't even aware.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Some people ain't aware of it. They just like, they think that's what it's supposed to be.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Life.
Honestly, I feel like some people, they like kind of hide behind their phones because they don't really know how to interact with people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just how they feel kind of safe. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll literally sit at the table, don't have nothing to talk about, so they just like stare at their phone because they are afraid to engage. You know?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think another thing that plays a part in the divorce rate too, and this is the last thing I want to say about that, is I think people set dreams and visions for themselves at a young age, or even not even at a young age, but set dreams and visions for themselves. And so like it's like, all right, well, I need to be married by 30. And so no matter who it is, I'm saying, like, I find a person, and then at 30, regardless of like finding out anything about them or finding out anything about, I was supposed to have kids at 25, or, you know what I'm saying? Like finding anything about the person, or like, you know what I'm saying, how they was brought up, and understanding like their dynamic, and knowing like, all right, well, this might not be the person. You rush something and you rush the situation, and then that puts you in a downfall, and then all of a sudden like you're fighting uphill from there. Whereas though you either divorce, you know what I'm saying, like we got the split or the divide in the house or anything of the sort. It's just because we rush to judgment, or we rush to the microwave generation, where we rush to get in a relationship, we rush to have kids, we rush to get married or what have you. And then all of a sudden it doesn't pan out because we rush the situation, as opposed to actually doing our due diligence and learning about the person, learning about the person's quote unquote history, and also learning about the person's family dynamic. Not to say that anything is wrong with the person's family dynamic, but that's important though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Getting into a relationship with a person, you're supposed to, that person's dynamic and that family's dynamic. Not necessarily that changes your relationship with the person, but it also gets you an understanding, or it should give you an understanding, a perspective of how that person was raised and how that person came about some of their values and some of their beliefs growing up.
Yep.
Hey, but Al, don't like all these like these shows like Married at whatever and
First sight.
every time somebody like document the shit on like social media, like it just like get the juices running.
Married with Children.
So they got like they got these false stuff. So.
Yeah, it glorifies a lot of that shit, and then other people feel like they got to do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like they missing out on life. I mean, I used to feel like that teen pregnancy show was
That's the worst shit. Yeah,
trying to teach girls the
So tragic.
that was. I was watching that shit. I'm like, yeah, because I was like, why is this trying to make it seem like this is like a cute or this is attractive to be a teenage mom? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I really do think that the mind of a young girl was literally thinking like, oh, I want to try this. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
then
this seems like fun.
Joe.
Then the girls when they're getting paid, they're not even struggling. They're not even like living the
Exactly.
I never understood that shit.
And they
I
still
see
look
the
like they're
little
struggling though.